Hello, everyone. Jim Benson here from Modus Cooperandi and Modus Institute with another Modus Minute. And in an Obeya, there are several different types of visualizations that you will want to have to adequately describe your work. And these aren't in any order, but are definitely ones that I want to talk about because people are always like, what do I put in the Obeya? And some people are very, very rigid about it. It's like this wall is going to be plan, and this wall is going to be do, and this wall is going to be study. And that usually doesn't work like that. All of the walls have the PDSA cycle represented in them, but they're covering the elements that you're visualizing are covering different things. So the first one we'll talk about here is workflow and relationships. Value stream mapping, and a value stream map is key to any team actually understanding its relationships with each other, with its work, and with other teams. So a VSM can go here, but you can also have like customer flow diagrams and things like that that spell out the relationships between the people doing the work that's being done, and the stakeholders or the customers involved. Okay, then the second bit here is strategy. So here we have just a sample X-matrix, Carl Scotland style X-matrix. You can do any type of Hoshin Conry exercises or business model canvases or things like that. But what is the strategy, or what are the strategies of your group? And then how do those strategies translate to action? This is important to be visualized because if it's not, then people who are doing the action won't know the actual importance of the work that they're doing, and then they can't make, decisions of strategic intent or strategic importance. Okay. Problem solving. Here we have an A3. There's a lot of different problem solving tools out there. The visualization doesn't matter as much as visualizing the problem solving or the conundrum solving, the opportunity solving that you're doing. So problem here isn't a pejorative word. It's just saying that there's something that you don't fully know and that you need to find it out. And this is not extra work. It is actually the work of your team. So your team, yes, you assemble things and you type things, but your team's major job is to learn. And the better the visualizations you have in your Obeya to learn and to share that learning, the better off everyone will be. So then you have context and understanding. And in context and understanding, you're building systems that allow people to see the context of the decision that they're making. So in this case, in this Dominator exercise, which is just an example, team has a whole bunch of different defects or technical debt or work that isn't new stuff that they need to do. And this is basically saying, okay, what is the impact of this and how long is it going to take? And we tend to do these in ways that are kind of amusing because then that breaks people out of their very literal interpretation of things, gets them a little bit more creative, gets them interested in the work. Then this visualization continues to live in the Obeya so you remember the decisions that you made and why, and you can update the graph as you do things. So then we will go to this very long one, which is roadmaps and timelines. I'll kind of grab this. And all teams have timelines, all teams have roadmaps, no matter how much we would like to avoid them or say that we don't. And it's important to visualize these because time is a universal metric. Everyone understands that tomorrow isn't today, and that next week is later than tomorrow, and next month is even later than that. So when you are making decisions with stakeholders, with people who are asking for work, everyone needs to understand what the potential time implications are in any decision or change that you might make. And you need to always have up there the idea of somebody is expecting something from me or from us by this date. Are we are we on track? Are we there? Uh, yes, we would all like to have all sorts of reasons why that's why we can ignore time, but we can't because time is just a thing. So team measures and team metrics. I'll go ahead and just kind of zoom in part of the Obeya here. But in this case, this is a team who is actively assembling and building heating and cooling units. And that team is directly measuring every single day the performance metrics of the company. And then they're figuring out what work they need to do or how they need to do their work better to make those things. Okay, storyboards. This is a Kamishibai board from that same group. And this is a board that basically shows how this team goes through their problem solving exercises. And I'll go ahead and move me down. And in this case, zoom in. That's as much as I can zoom. They're taking it through an 8-step process to solve problems. As they solve those problems, below that, the A3 or the problem solving ticket would move along. And then the neat thing about this one is that then when a team is done solving a problem, like to get to here where they verified that the corrective action is effective and that the problem won't come back, then they get a point. And then later on, if the problem does come back, the away team gets a point. And so this means that when you make a continuous improvement to this company, when that improvement happens, that's good. But when it comes back and the improvement doesn't work, people aren't like, that didn't work. And then they like give up on continuous improvement. Here, it's just like sports. So the other team got a point. So what? You go back and you solve the problem again, or you see that you've solved 5 problems and only one of them have come back, and you see that continuous improvement is just like playing a game where you might not always be the one who scores, but that doesn't mean that you lose. And it's one of the reasons why I've never liked the whole fail fast thing because it's not failing, it's learning, and learning is very different than failing. And then last but not least, you expected to see a Kanban or two up there from me probably. Kanbans are very necessary because you do need to track work in progress. I did want to come up here and show though here is there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can make a Kanban. So the important thing is, are you visualizing your work and are you tracking your work in progress and are you making sure that you are operating within your capacity? That doesn't have to be linear. It doesn't have to be with post-it notes. There could be any number of digital tools that we use for this. But in your Obeya, you do need to be tracking work in progress as item number 7. So the 7 items as a whole were um, workflow and relationships, strategy, problem solving, context and understanding, roadmaps and timelines, team measures, storyboards, and work in progress. I'm sure that other people out there can come up with more than 7. That's why I just said that there were 7 and this wasn't the 7. But your Obeya needs to be able to see the operations, the tactics, the strategy of your team so that they have the information that they need to act with confidence.